It's raining outside. It's cold, miserable. Should I go and ride? Catch you inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. Hope you're enjoying the channel and the series of videos. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below, and check out the website at RevelatorAlf.com. So, in this video, I'm talking about riding your Harley Davidson motorcycle. In fact, let's expand it out. Any motorcycle. And what weather will stop you riding? It could be just the wet, it could be rain, it could be high winds, whatever it is. It could be just that it's too cold, or it could be just too hot. At some point, there's going to be a certain weather condition that might either make you think about not riding, or will even stop you riding. I suppose there are two main weather phenomena, I suppose, if you want to use that word, that would really stop me riding, or that I would really consider whether I should ride or not. The first one is actually an interesting one. It's extreme heat. And when I talk about extreme heat, I'm talking about 35 plus 40 degrees. If it ever gets to that kind of temperature, now it's very rare in the UK, but we can have, low 30s in the summer. And if I'm riding long distance, then I will consider actually maybe changing my departure time, let's say, so I could actually ride in cooler temperatures, that kind of thing. Would it stop me riding in really hot temperatures? No, but I would make sure that I am suitably dressed for the occasion. Lots of people would say, well, yeah, just go on a t-shirt and whatever, shorts and everything like that. I think the problem with that for me is, well, it depends whether you want to consider the safety aspect or not. This is not about the safety. This video, it's more about, being comfortable on a ride, that kind of thing. But also, if you're going to be wearing a t-shirt in really hot temperatures, then the chances are you're going to get sunburned. And, it depends where you are in the world, whether you have to wear a helmet or anything like that. So I would say in really hot temperatures, in the height of the summer, let's say, if you have to ride in those temperatures, then do so, but also, think about it logically, keep yourself well hydrated, all that kind of stuff, regular stops, really monitor your fatigue levels as well, but also try and do whatever you can to keep yourself cool. There are lots of tips and tricks to keep yourself cool, like wearing wet t-shirts beneath a jacket. You can get motorcycle clothing that is suitable, obviously, for summer riding, that kind of thing. But there's no doubt you're going to be really hot, especially if you're in slow-moving traffic or if you're riding in the city or whatever. I'm not saying that it's wrong to, get rid of your motorcycle clothing, just wear, t-shirts, whatever. That's a personal choice for you. But what I'm saying is there is lots of things to consider when you're riding in the extreme hot conditions. Now, the flip side of that is the winter. I love riding in the winter and I ride all year round. But many people would say there's nothing that's going to stop that guy from riding his bike. Well, actually there is. There's actually quite a few things that will stop me riding my bike. One of the first things is freezing weather conditions. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's not a problem. There's snow on the ground. There's ice everywhere. As long as the roads are free and clear, that's no problem. And that's absolutely right. And it's the road condition rather than the actual weather conditions that I'm most concerned about. A lot of my riding will take me out onto the back roads and actually over hills, onto high hills, where there can be a severe drop in temperature during the winter. A lot of those roads aren't treated as well. So you can actually have lots of black ice, even when you think it's not that cold. And that's one of the problems that I have on a lot of my commute rides, but also on a lot of my rides onto the back roads as well throughout the winter. So that's something that I'm always factoring. I'm always looking at the temperature, and I'm always looking at, is it dry? It might be winter, but is it dry? How cold is it? What's the temperature likely to be, you know, along my journey? And would the roads have been treated? Yes or no? All these things come into play, but if it's really cold temperature, sub-freezing, for example, and I'm going to be riding on back roads, I would seriously consider not riding on a particular stretch of road. Now, I may change my route and go another route, so I may carry on riding, but it's just on a particular route I may stop. So these are the kind of things that would stop me riding. You know, the extremes, really hot temperatures that I may choose to ride at a different time of day, or really cold temperatures when we've got icing on the roads and that kind of thing. If the roads are treated, in other words, there aren't any ice on there, then yes, I would still ride on those roads. At some point, you've got to make the decision yourself at what you're most comfortable with. Now, for myself, I'm comfortable in virtually all road conditions. Actually, the discomfort or riding in the different weather conditions doesn't really bother me. The Scandinavians would say there's no such thing as bad weather, it's just inappropriate clothing, and I completely agree with that. For the winter, you dress for the winter. For the summer, you dress for the summer as well, and try and incorporate a little bit of safety in your thinking as well. But actually, you know, riding, being in control of the motorcycle, being comfortable on the motorcycle is key to a good, safe ride, in my opinion anyway. You can wear all the motorcycle protection you like, but if you're riding in conditions that are not favourable to you or to your level, your skill set, then you may have an accident anyway. You may crash your motorcycle anyway. So there's no real point in actually going out in that weather if you're not practiced in it and you're not proficient in it, and also if you're not confident in it as well. So always have your limitations. But I would certainly say, if you are going to go out in difficult riding conditions, challenging conditions, then practice it. Practice it, piecemeal it, just do a little bit at a time. Some people say, I'm never going to ride at night because I just don't like the thought of riding at night. Then practice riding at night. Maybe go out on well-lit roads, maybe in urban roads first of all at night, and then start venturing out further afield. Maybe you don't like to go out when it's raining. For whatever reason, you don't like the discomfort, or you just don't want your bike to get wet and dirty. That's absolutely fine. But if you do feel that you want to go out but you just lack a bit of confidence, then just go out on very short trips. But remember, ride to the conditions. Be very conservative in your throttle control, in your braking, how you're leaning the bike over, especially in wet conditions and in cold conditions as well. Remember the tyres, which are a really important factor in terms of how the bike sticks to the road basically. And if it's really wet conditions, muddy conditions, or if it's really cold as well, those tyres are going to be cold and they're not going to function to their optimum as well. So you need to be thinking about all these different variables so that when you actually go out onto these roads, different weather conditions, that you're at least going to be confident in your ability to get from point A to point B and hopefully back again. Anyway, but that's my mantra really. You know, if there's not many riding conditions or weather conditions that I won't go out on my bike, but there are lots of weather conditions that I will think long and hard before I do actually go out on the ride. I dress for the ride. I dress for the occasion, if you like, for the weather conditions. And that's more important than the safety aspect per se. It's about the comfort and the overall package. I look at the holistic view of riding as opposed to just looking at one particular aspect of safety. For me, rider safety is a whole thing. It's about how you fit on the bike, it's about how comfortable you are riding that bike in the weather conditions, what clothing you're wearing, are you comfortable, and also are you being safe, and will you be safe or safer if you did have a crash and come off your motorcycle as well. But anyway, if you are thinking about going out into the winter riding as well, all I would say is if you're not comfortable in it, then just practice. Practice a little bit on short distances. But if you're really not comfortable or you don't want to go out on the bike, you know what, or you just can't be bothered to clean your bike afterwards, then don't. You know, it doesn't matter if you're going to ride through the winter or not. It's entirely up to you. Now, obviously, it depends where you are in the world. You may not be able to ride your bike. You may not be allowed to ride your bike because of the weather is so extreme, you know, for whatever reason, if you're in snow-covered areas of the world. Well, that's absolutely right. You're just going to have to bide your time until spring arrives, I'm afraid, and that's all you can do. But, you know, for other people around the world that are in temperate climes or warmer climates, then you've got the ability to ride all year round. You just got to factor in for the weather and how that's going to affect you and also your motorcycle as well. Right, well, I hope you found this useful. As I say, there's only a couple of riding conditions that are really stop me riding or maybe make me think about moving my riding times, and that's extreme heat and extreme cold, really. But when I talk about that, I'm talking about when it's freezing on untreated roads, or when it's really hot, that's going to affect my fatigue as well. Those are the two things that I really think about. Otherwise, I just dress for the occasion and try and keep as comfortable as I can. Right, well, if you found it useful, please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments. Let me know what you think about this, about when you should ride, when you should not ride. That's the most important thing. What weather will stop you riding as well. Okay, catch you on the next video, coming very, very soon. Ta-da.
RevelatorAlf.